Hello, everybody. This is the Tucson Dowsers meeting on December 2nd, 2023. I'd like to introduce our special guest for today, Jackie Rioux, whose topic is going to be balancing hormones using dowsing. In her presentation, Jackie will share the dowsing techniques she uses to correct hormonal imbalances with herself and her clients. Jackie's a Dowser, Reiki master, teacher, holistic wellness practitioner, and an author. All energy fields, and you can share whatever you need to share about your background and how you got to this place, Jackie.
Okay.
But from the energetic healing and holistic wellness perspective, as one goal, and that's to bring balance and homeostasis to the body. Hormones run everything in the physical body, and figuring out and balancing hormones can bring amazing energy shifts. So I can hardly wait to hear the information you're going to bring us, because I think this is really pertinent for all of us.
Thank
So
you.
Jackie, take it away.
Thank you. So thank you to Carol and the Tucson Dowsers and everyone that has shown up today. And I know I've gotten lots of messages of people that, it's December and quite busy, and there's got a lot of people that are going to catch the replay. So hello to you as well. And thank you for showing up. I'm going to do my best to share some information that I've kind of put together over the years. I do have quite a bit of different trainings behind me. I'm a perpetual learner. I like to read articles, participate in forums, grab all sorts of information and new techniques. And if anyone is familiar with matrix energetics in particular, but a lot of different modalities, they promote a higher vibration, laughter, and lightheartedness. This is where we'd like to be in a higher vibration. So having that kind of perspective when you're working, it seems to help balance things because we'd like to be in that higher vibration. So yes, the most common ground between any energy healing modality is to bring the body into homeostasis, into balance. We know that our energy and our electrical body is the first place that imbalances begin. The energy level, the DNA, the cellular levels, and then they manifest into the physical body. And this is where we can get, pain or imbalances and just not feeling well and brain fog and all of those kind of things that our physical body experiences. Correcting hormones, I have found, can really make a huge difference and bring a lot of positive shifts for people. And they can relieve a lot of issues and symptoms. Like Carol said, hormones run everything in the physical body, and figuring out and balancing hormones can bring amazing energy shifts. Just a disclaimer, though, I am not a medical professional. This is just covering my butt. Because hormones do shift a lot of things. So please do have medical support, professional medical support for anything serious, and use your intuition and your discernment. Always connect with divine truth and trust that guidance. Now, all this said, I may have a lot of trainings behind me, and yes, I have taken some biology and all those kind of things. That's not necessary when the way that I'm going to show you, just having a list of hormones, which I have compiled over the years, and it's not conclusive or may not even be entirely accurate. So again, trust your guidance and your discernment in finding those imbalances. Now, just to start off, because we are all dowsers and everybody has a different way of doing things, just to introduce my way of dowsing. A pendulum is just a tool for me, and I have a little ladybug necklace. That's what I use for, I've got lots and lots of pendulums. This one's just lightweight. That's what I use. It's just a tool. It just confirms what's going on in my head, confirming the energy, the answers that I'm getting intuitively. I do have on my YouTube a little dowsing 101 showing how I use dowsing. And then, okay, so, right, the other thing I was going to say here. Okay, when I connect with clients, this is just another thing with, there's some modalities that ask you to step into a person's space. I find that invasive. I will not step into a client's space, into their energy. What I do, and I have a video on my YouTube channel explaining how I connect with a divine filter. And so what this actually came from marriage counseling from many years ago, from Christian marriage counseling. So just a little quick thing to explain. What they say in marriage counseling is you have God at the top, and the husband and wife at the bottom. And so now coming forward to what I do now, I use this idea, this concept, in how I connect with a client. So you have God, or your higher power, your higher self, your divine truth, however you like to describe that higher power, you have that at the top, and you have yourself and your client at the bottom. And so if you connect directly to your client, you are stepping into their space, you're away from your higher power, and it's not always accurate. And you can also mix energies, which we don't want to be doing that. So if you connect through the higher power, or God, or however you describe that top part, this is where you are connecting with divine truth, and you can connect with your client through a filter. And that way you're not mixing energies, and you are getting accurate answers that way. So now to go on to balancing hormones. Now, I am an emotion code practitioner. I do have the body code system. So that was kind of the idea behind this, but many other modalities are the same thing. It's just finding an imbalance. And we also know from Raymond Grace that sometimes the way he does things is just to, balance hormones. You just ask to balance hormones. Generally, that does work. The body does like to hide things and keep you in a state of the familiar. And that's the reason for many other different techniques in being able to find these imbalances. So many years ago in one of our forums, one of our scientific, she's a epigeneticist, she shared the Shrun Sudar. She's a really good body code practitioner. She shared a list of hormones. I had that list. I had another list from other forums, so other things people have shared. There's lists on Google, all of these. So that is kind of how I've compiled the list that you have with you today. I noticed that there's a WT on some of the lower ones, and some of them may be repeated. I'm not sure what the WT is, just to put that out there, in case you're asking. I don't know. It's just a compiled list. Okay. Now, when you tune into your higher power or your intuition, you don't need to know everything. And it's really quite interesting. The first time that I had actually taken a list of hormones, I knew some of the things in myself. So dopamine and serotonin, those are really easy ones. Those are your happy hormones, right? And if you've taken any kind of things with biology, dopamine, serotonin, and pretty much any kind of hormones, substances in your body, there is a scientific way to explain the energy, the receptors. I just call them shape sorters. It's just an easy way for somebody that's not super educated in all the science to describe how each substance has got a shape, and it has to fit into the shape of the receptors in your body. Okay. And so dopamine and serotonin, this is why you can have chemical substances that duplicate dopamine and serotonin and can do the same thing. but we'd prefer, rather than using chemicals or other substances, to actually have the natural hormones. So some of these hormones can be blocked energetically, and you can find those imbalances. Okay, so the first time that I tried this, estrogen, estradiol, and progesterone are female hormones. And so balancing those. Some of us ladies have got PMS issues, and those are not very fun. And so you can balance your hormones in order to relieve some of those imbalances, and bring the balances or the hormones back into balance. There is here, sorry. Court hormones, those are really important for everybody. And I'll just add in here too that some of these imbalances you can also find on animals. And again, I don't know all the hormones if they're the exact same as the humans, but I have found it quite effective in just asking, is there a hormone imbalance? Which number am I going to? I'll douse which number to go to on my list. If I have this particular one, there are numbers on there, so you can douse which number. So let's say dopamine or the court hormones, corticosterone, cortical releasing hormone, and the third one, corticotrophin. These are all court hormones. So when you balance those ones, they can relieve pain. Now, also a disclaimer there that pain is a messenger. So if you need medical assistance there, to take care of that first. And then if there's still pain going on, you can balance the court hormones and reduce the pain symptoms. Now, any of these hormones, some are supposed to be flowing high and some flow low. So when I work with hormones, I ask the percent of the function, or what it's operating at, the percent of the function, and then clear and douse with questions and intentions any blocks to bring up the function to 100%. And also hormones, they fluctuate constantly. So in one session, I can work with someone or myself and ask, okay, what is this functioning at? If I get it at, 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, I'll release some blocks. An easy way is, do I need to know the details or what exactly is blocking? Sometimes you don't need to know that. You can use a court of atonement, just asking to balance those hormones. Sometimes that will work. Raymond Grace style. Is there a spirit of anger or a spirit of grief, or another kind of emotion? You can release those and bring the imbalance up. Say we'll bring it up to 57%. Okay, is there another block? And then bring it up to 100% for that session. Now, you can have within a session, you release something else, because I work with a lot of things in different sessions. Releasing any kind of other blocks can bring a hormone into imbalance again within a session. You just bring it up. And then you're finished with your client. They go out and they go about their day, and hormones will continue to fluctuate. But over time, those hormones may come into not have so many triggers and things that knock them out of imbalance, and you can keep a much more level sense of peace through doing it that way. All right, so some things that I picked up over my years in learning about hormones. Thyroxin 4 is a thyroid hormone. This is related to your throat chakra. And it's also about speaking your truth. Quite often when I find an imbalance there, I also find out my client has got something going on, that they maybe have had an argument, or they've been stifled in some way that they're just not allowed to speak their truth. And this will create an imbalance with thyroxin 4. There's a couple other thyroid hormones there, T3 and thyroxin, there's another releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing, thyroid stimulating hormone, thyroid tropin releasing hormone. All of those ones, you may find those come up in sessions working with your throat chakra. And so my kids are my guinea pigs, and just some funny things that, you know, my daughter at one time was working in a situation that job had gotten not good. They had new management, things were not good. She needed to leave that job, but she was still hanging on. So every time I cleared her energy, she seemed to find her voice, and she finally put her foot down and put up her boundaries, and she left that job, and now she's got a wonderful job. Okay. Irisin is supposed to help with weight release. C-reacting protein is related to insulin resistance, and it can also be with weight. An interesting one is DMT, or spirit hormone. And I believe on one of these things, I do have a link to, maybe, oh yes, okay. Dimethyltryptamine is the spirit hormone. And so there's an article there of why it's called the spirit molecule. And interestingly, I found this article, and this is what I mean of how I will find articles and I'll just glean some more techniques and ideas from it. So this particular one, I've had that come up on certain people when they've been disconnected from source. They've had imbalances such as spiritual blindness come up on them. And that hormone, when you've balanced it and cleared those blocks, bring it back to 100%, they feel much more connected. Their intuition seems to come back or be more pronounced. Yes, that one. Leptin can be related to appetite issues. Gastrin, motilin, and ghrelin are all related to stomach issues. Now, an interesting thing with this is I work with a lot of trauma because that's actually my background. And you don't need to know details about trauma. You can find the imbalances and just release them. But through all the different learnings that I have had, it took me until I took abnormal psychology to actually put this all together and have a way to explain it. So your fight, flight, or freeze and fawn response, your sympathetic nervous system, that is a natural response that is supposed to get you out of danger. Okay, that's supposed to go off. The thing is that when that goes off, it also shuts down your digestion in order to heighten your adrenaline and your cortisol. And so if you're in a situation where you have ongoing trauma, emotional abuse, anything like that, or a high stress job, things like that, you're constantly having your digestion shutting down, and you have to eat. So now you are eating on an imbalanced stomach. And so all of these hormones can get out of whack and be imbalanced. So I see these come up a lot of times, and soon find out that somebody has had some sort of an upset or a trauma or whatever it is. However, can be minor, just a disagreement with somebody, all the way out to, you know, all out trauma. So a funny little story with leptin. I had a friend several years ago that was complaining. There was a lot of things going on, and I knew he wasn't eating properly. And so I balanced his leptin. And the next day, we went for lunch, and he scarfed down this chicken burger. And he's looking at me like, what is wrong with me? I just ate like a couple bowls of spaghetti last night. I brought breakfast this morning. I'm eating this right now. And I'm like, did you want to ask me what I did? And it was leptin. So yeah, it brought back his appetite. I've had a client one time that it was a young fellow, and his leptin was out of whack, and he had things like betrayal and melatonin to come up with just sleep issues, and you know, he doesn't need to talk. I don't need details. I can just balance the energy. And so I had just let him know. I said, you don't need to tell me anything, but I'm going to assume that you've had a bad breakup recently. And he confirmed that. He was kind of a little weirded out that I could figure that out just by balancing his hormones, but that was what was going on. So I covered female hormones. Yeah, estrogen, progesterone, estradiol. This can help reduce greatly PMS symptoms, and because women in our cycles, we fluctuate, and can align with moon energy and influences that way. Just a personal thing, I had some female issues a few years ago. My doctor sent me to a specialist, and he was looking at my ultrasounds, and he's like, so you have a lot of pain going on? And I'm like, no. And he says, well, how's that possible? And I said, well, I balance my hormones. And he's like, you do what? But they're not doing anything medically with it because I don't have any symptoms. So you can avoid surgery with that sometimes. Male hormones, testosterone, androsterone. These hormones, according to what I learned in abnormal psychology, my instructor did say that there was a book out, which for the life of me, I cannot remember what the book was, but it explains particularly how testosterone is very highly affected in how a woman treats a man, whether it's his mother, his sister, his partner, whoever. And it fluctuates. So if you have a client that has had a bad breakup or a heartbreak, issues with his partner, these things can affect and bring down testosterone. And yeah, it just, testosterone is, you know, the big soldier kind of thing, and a little bit of aggression. We all have both male and female hormones. So yeah, when you balance that, they can get their oomph back. Okay, so yeah, this is an example where one flows high, one flows low. So and dopamine, serotonin are the happy hormones. I'm not going to explain how I've learned this one, but erectile dysfunction is an issue for some people. So you balance melanocyte and testosterone. I was actually talking with a doctor, and he was happy to hear that, and he said he could use that in his practice as well. When you're balancing hormones or any kind of imbalances, consider the metaphysical connotations with imbalances. An interesting thing that I've had in a few times lately is having a wings clipped or legs broken, or the lynx chakra in your knees, having an axe, which is a spiritual weapon. If you take into consideration these metaphysical connotations, those kind of things can be blocks as well. Not sure if I need to explain more of that. Hopefully you can kind of figure that one out. Wings clipped is kind of where somebody is just stunted in their growth. Yeah, okay, I'll leave that one. I don't know what else to explain about that one. Lanosterone is on this list. It is not actually a hormone. It is an eye medicine, as far as I understand. And that has actually come up on people to balance that, and I balance it the same way as I balance the hormone, the percent of function. And so when they have eye issues, or metaphysically, it can come up in cases where somebody has a fear of seeing the future. Metabolism dysfunction. I don't know why it's hard to say that. And apoptosis dysfunction. So metabolism is how you process your food. That can go back to the stomach hormones. And the apoptosis, apoptosis is a function in your body where your cells die off, and it is the apoptosis is a function where it's supposed to flush out the dead cells. So if your hormones and body functions are not working properly, then that can create problems, and your cells can get backed up and it can create a tumor. Just reading science articles or books can bring up ideas to check and to play with. Stress can cause excess cortisone and adrenaline. So those ones, again, that goes back to checking the function, whether it's functioning at 100%, because you can check if it's the level of it. I don't usually do that. If I can just ask if there's excess cortisone or cortisone or adrenaline, and sometimes you can just neutralize the excess, and that comes from having a lot of stress. So as for blocks in what you can find as to what the energetic block is in creating these imbalances with hormones, one thing that I like to work with a lot, excuse me. Sorry. Okay, so miasms. In years past, we thought of miasms as just a stuck energy, a suppressed disease energy. And through one of our emotion code practitioner forums, and several practitioners just brainstorming, and particularly Tom Hines. I had the honor of meeting him on a cruise a few years ago. He's got a website that I highly recommend. He has webinars, and he's got a lot of information that in watching one of those videos and learning about miasms and expanding the definition of it to be a family pattern weakness, I have found that pretty much anything can be a miasm. Whatever an issue is that a client is presenting with, I ask if it's a miasm. Is there a pattern of betrayal? Have they been lied to? Is there deception going on? Is there heartbreak? These kind of things. Somebody with skin issues, is there something like psoriasis? We don't necessarily, our energy body or intuition doesn't necessarily recognize actual diagnoses, but if you have a little bit of knowledge already about what diabetes is or what cancer is, those kind of things, then you can ask, and generally you can get answers as to a diagnosis word rather than just looking at the symptoms. Some suggestions for questions that you can use. Find the level of the hormone, what it's functioning at, and first off, ask, do I need to know any details? Can I just balance it to 100% and then check yes or no if it is to 100, balance again if necessary. You can also ask some questions here. Are there hormones that are imbalanced, unhappy, or not functioning optimally? Just those different words, asking if it's imbalanced, unhappy, or not functioning optimally. You can get different answers each way you ask those questions. Is the body utilizing or absorbing all hormones that it is producing? Is there something else that you need to look at? And if you're not familiar with biology or have access to, the Body Code app or anything like that, Google is really great with coming up with diagrams that you can play around with and go into different areas of the body in order to find imbalances and to balance those, and ask also if there's any hormones affecting that. Just also remembering right now, renin has to do with the kidneys, and that's a good one to balance if there's any incontinence issues. Metaphysically, kidneys are about not letting go of things or holding on to things too much. Okay, so is the body being triggered to produce too much or not enough of a hormone at some point during the day? I'll throw in there too that there is a Chinese medicine wheel. You can look up information on that, that the body, the organs, during certain times of the 24-hour clock, those organs are particularly working or cleaning themselves out, and you can target those areas with hormones as well. You can look at particular as your heart, your stomach, your liver, pancreas, those kind of things. Is there anything particular with those organs or a gland or a chakra that is causing issues with hormones? And if you're at a loss, is there any other question that I should be asking affecting hormones? Are the hormones supporting each other? And are all aspects of a hormonal system synchronized? So just play with different questions, trust your intuition, your discernment, and just have fun with bringing up these different things. Court of Atonement, of course, I always promote Court of Atonement. You can use just a simple intention, asking to balance and regulate your hormones. And I think that covers most of the list there. And there was somebody that asked in here. Someone asked, is there a hormone for the linked chakra? We got some noise here. Is there a hormone for the linked chakra? That is links as in LINKS. As far as that was just another thing that I picked up. There's not a particular hormone that I know of that is particularly for that chakra. There are some definitions in the list here as to what these hormones are, but again, always double check with Google or a hormone list online to get current and accurate information. And somebody asked about DMT. I think I looked at that already. And name of the spirit hormone again is DMT or dimethyltryptamine, which some of these hormones I have a hard time pronouncing because a lot of things are Latin. All right. I think that has covered most of my notes, and I may have gone all over the place with all of my information, but hopefully that came across okay. Is there any questions that I can ask and answer here?
I think can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
If there's anybody, you can put up your hand or you can unmute yourself and ask questions for Jackie.
I got a question.
Okay.
Jackie.
Yes.
My question is, can this help me in with my hearing issues?
Probably. I have Raymond Grace's attitude that you never know unless you try. So you focus on your hearing issues and ask if there is a hormone that, actually, if you don't mind, I'll just check right now. Okay, so is there a hormone that would be helpful for Ron's hearing? And I'm not getting particularly no. Is there a hormone that we can balance that might affect his hearing? Yes. Okay,
Oh,
so 1 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, 70, 80. So 80, 81, 82, 83. Oxytocin, or no, sorry, parathyroid hormone, which is interesting because the parathyroid is actually in the neck. So
right.
that could be close enough to your hearing that it could, is there
I
something?
think that might be right too, because I can feel it in my bottom of my ears.
Yeah, so
It feels like I got some kind of something filled up in there, like water or something.
yeah,
It's really
so
strange.
that's something to look at in balancing the parathyroid hormone and see if that can help with your hearing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, what is the significance of the WT? These were lists that I just kind of compiled, and I'm not sure what the WT was. Sorry, so I don't know what the WT is. It's just was another list that I put together. Is there a hormone that can help with eczema? Is there a hormone on here that can help with eczema? Yes. And 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 70, 71, 72, 73. Mineralocorticoids. Example, aldosterone. And aldosterone, on here too, mainly responsible for absorbing sodium in the kidneys to increase the volume of blood in the body. So for me, what I would assume there is there's issues with the kidneys, and kidneys are supposed to flush out toxins. So if the kidneys are not working properly and flushing out toxins, then they would cause skin issues. So
Okay.
Jackie, Lizzie Scherer has her hand up. We'll alternate back and forth if somebody has a hand up.
okay.
So,
Oh,
do
yes.
you want to? Yeah.
Yes, I can just unmute. I didn't catch what the DMT was for, was one question. And then I wanted to know if you are familiar with Dr. Tutera's pellet therapy. That
No.
it's estradiol testosterone that is injected intradermally, like about every 4 months. And
Okay.
it allows the hormones to be absorbed over time directly into the bloodstream and bypassing the liver, so that it's a better absorption than like the troches are for women and for men. Men can use it too. No.
I haven't heard of it. I do know of some of those kind of concepts.
Mhm.
My thing with doing balancing hormones energetically is to try and avoid medical interventions.
Yeah.
And also when you actually take a substance, a hormone therapy or whatever, you're going on, a human, a doctor or a human or whatever, and what they think is an appropriate dosage. When you balance hormones energetically, you can ask for the most appropriate for your body. And that way you're not interfering physically, and you're not getting an overdose or an underdose. You're getting exactly what you need. So that would be my answer on that.
Okay.
Although I am always open to learning how they use their techniques and then just kind of working in with my own thing.
Thank you. And the DMT was for what?
The DMT number 32 on the list here, there is a link there to an article that explains why it was called the spirit molecule. And it's kind of something related to shamanism.
Right.
And don't know if he used the word hallucinations in there, but I don't like that word actually. But being able to being able to connect to source, and using your intuition that way. So that's how I use the spirit hormone. I find that that's cases where somebody is disconnected from their higher self and their spirit,
Okay,
their higher spirit.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Want to check out a couple of chats? We had a couple of questions in the chat, and then we'll come to Lucy. Back to Lucy.
Okay. For postmenopausal women who are low in estrogen and progesterone, does it help to balance them even if the levels are both low? Yes, that's the reason why I ask what it functions at. Because when I go in to check what the function is at, if I'm having PMS symptoms or I'm having cramping, yeah, all of those things that we have as symptoms during that time of month or during that point of our cycle. When you ask what the function is, you can bring up the function, and it does quite effectively relieve some of the symptoms.
But you also, so this would probably be a good place to do it because I probably will generate a lot of questions from here or answer a lot of questions. Can you please show how you douse the number of the hormone?
The number of the hormone? I've got a quick way of doing it. So there's 1 to 151 on here. So my quick way of doing it is it in 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, so I get yes on 90, whatever we're looking for here. Relaxin. Oh, we were just talking about female things there. So relaxin is when a woman is ready to deliver a baby or her body produces the hormone. And that I'm pretty sure relaxin comes up in times when you're having cramping as well, and so it relaxes things there. There we go. Did that answer the last question?
Yeah, I think so. The chart that she's using, is that the handout? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And
like I said, this is just a compilation that I put together for today's talk, and I didn't take out the WT to confuse everybody, sorry. But this list, it's a compilation, so you're welcome to take off whatever you need and rearrange it and put it into your own charts or whatever. Are there specific hormones that could be affecting bone deformation in the hands, resulting in lack of strength? Well, let's just ask that one for Heather. Is there a specific hormone that could be affecting bone deformation in the hands, resulting in lack of strength? And I get a yes. I'll put my little pendulum up there so you can see it. So, sorry, I'm talking so much, I get a dry throat here. Okay, so is it on the first page? There's another way you can do it. Is it on the first page, second page? And I get on the third page. I'm getting 80, which is orexin for appetite, increases the appetite while also increasing your alertness and energy levels. Okay, that's not making a whole lot of sense, but your energy levels there. And is there another hormone? Yes. So this page, this one here. Thyrotropin releasing hormone. So your thyroid does control a lot of things in your body. And again, this is just me kind of guessing at some things and how I've learned how the human body works together. So each time you balance one of the hormones, you may get something else. And, you know, when I do client sessions, I just get out of the way and follow the energy. And some really strange things come up sometimes, and it makes no sense to me. But when I explain what it is, often I'll have my clients saying, oh yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Well, I didn't know that, but the dowsing shows your answers. So just trust it.
can you take Lucy? She has her hand up. Lucy, do you want to unmute yourself?
There we go.
Sure.
Hi.
Jackie, I took a birth control in my late 20s,
Yeah.
and I saw a what is he, poison specialist. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
And he said that the birth control basically poisoned my cardiovascular system.
Okay.
And is there a way to detox that?
Yep. You can ask, do you still have that toxin in your body? Yes. And can we just neutralize it? Yes. So
Okay.
if you've listened to Raymond Grace, he's got his story about the Roundup on the field. And that's a good one to reference in how we can just neutralize toxicities.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just by intention neutralize that. It's not completely infallible. Like right now, I've just neutralized what just asking that question. We just neutralized what's there right now. Over time, you may release some other different energetic blocks and, you know, shuffle things around, and you may find that more toxins come up, and just neutralize it each time you find that.
Can you do the same thing for mold?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Just neutralize the frequency of it. Yeah, scrambling the frequency with neutralizing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Donna Lee, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, excuse me. Z wants to know if there's a hormone influencing macular degeneration.
Yes. That's your eyes, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. And that one, it again, not a hormone, but lanosterol, that one would come up. And is there, I feel like there's another one here. So 1 to 10, 20, 30, 40, 42. Prostaglandin 142, it acts on the adenylate silase to enhance the production of cyclic AMP. I think AMP is to do with your energy, isn't it?
Do you mean ATP?
No, it says AMP on this one.
Oh.
Yeah. This is where Google's your friend, because I don't know everything. But this is how I do this. I don't know everything, and yet I, you know, can find the hormone and then just play around with it in balancing that hormone and figuring out what the energetics blocks may be, and then releasing those, neutralizing things. And
Jackie, do you start by asking how many hormones are out of balance, and
no, because the hormones, they can get imbalanced within a session. So I just ask, is there a hormone that we're addressing? Which one is it? Do I need to know what's blocking it? Can I just neutralize or, you know, amplify whatever we need to do in order to bring that to 100% balance? Maybe a couple of imbalances, and you bring it up to 100%, and then ask if there's another hormone.
So if you know someone that has macular degeneration, would be specific to that person?
Probably, because we're all different, right?
Yeah.
We've got the same human tendencies and everything, the human makeup, but our hormones, depending on whatever experiences we've had, can be completely out of whack, and you balance one hormone on one person in one way, and you balance it on another person with completely differently.
Great, thank you. Yeah. Terrific list, unbelievable.
Thank you. Oh, we've got
Amy
Jo.
Amy Jo has
Amy Jo.
Hey there. I've been loving it and enjoying it. I don't have a question. I just wanted to tell people that you did this for me on sleeping. I had been having real problems with sleeping, and Jackie goes, "Oh, let me balance these couple of hormones." And so I thought maybe you could tell them like maybe a couple questions, how they could ask for working on sleep, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Melatonin is your sleep hormone. Melatonin is the second part. It starts off at tryptophan. And tryptophan is in turkey. So, I mean, these are all random things that I put together. So turkey, that's why you get a turkey coma after Thanksgiving dinner. So that if you can balance the tryptophan, you can balance melatonin. Further than that, I figured out that if you ask if you can balance your circadian rhythm, your diurnal cycles, and your REM sleep, and that tends to knock people out pretty well. I've done that on my grandkids. We call it grandma zapping.
Okay.
I've got a little bit of humor that way.
Well, can you repeat it just 1 second? I'm going to type it up so people have that recipe in the notes here. They can just pull it off then. So we had tryptophan.
Yeah, tryptophan, melatonin.
Okay. And circadian rhythm.
Yeah, so that's one of your body
REM
systems.
and REM sleep. Was
REM
there another?
sleep. And you can go for diurnal cycles as well.
Oh, that's important. What a cool one to think of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay, well,
yet again, those are all things that I picked up randomly, and then I put them all together as a little protocol kind of thing.
right. Well, I was like, this is right here with what you're doing, and there's so many people who need. I thought, oh, let me tell them if you don't fix it for yourself, call Jackie, man. She's good at this. All right, I'll let you go.
Diurnal. There we go.
Diurnal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So diurnal is di is the 2, so 2 cycles, your day and night. You've got nocturnal. You've got nocturnal. What's the day one? But diurnal is the balance of the 2 of them. There.
Do you want to take another hands up? Yaneth has her hand up.
And okay.
Okay.
Where's Yana? There we go.
Okay, I have a question. I had worked a lot with hormonals, but I don't know, like maybe you can have a better insight. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I suffer from cold feet and cold hands and cold knees, and they can be either or together all at once. And this has happened for about 4 months, and I cannot figure it out. You can recommend anything? You had anything like that before that come to your to see you?
Yes, there's a lot of things that can come up with that. The first thing that there's something called pernicious influences, and that can be extreme cold, extreme heat, dryness, wetness. There's 2 more. I can't remember what those ones are. But if you've had an experience where you got really, really cold and just never healed from it, I've had that come up on myself. The other thing is, if you are anywhere near menopausal age, it can come up as menopause as well. So balancing the estradiol, estrogen, progesterone, and I'm pretty sure there's another one in there that was a female hormone that helps with balancing menopause.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because that was one thing that I've actually had to go through this year. I've always been very, very cold myself. And this summer I experienced hot flashes, and I figured out how to shut that off just in time for it to get cold again.
Can you answer a question that's in the chat? What about how do you fix parasites?
Oh, parasites. Parasites, if you follow anything from Medical Medium, he talks about some of those kind of things. Parasites feed on, there might be other sources too that I've gotten that from, but parasites feed on stress and as adrenaline and cortisol. So if you neutralize any excess cortisol and adrenaline, you'll bring that down, and then you can check for any other hormones that may be contributing and keeping them there.
That's great. Okay, you have another hand up,
Hand up.
Liz.
Liz?
varicose veins.
Varicose veins?
Varicose vein. Yes, on the legs. Sometimes you get the small ones, the big ones, like bulging varicose veins.
Yeah.
Mm.
Without dowsing, the first thing that's coming to my mind there is endothelin.
Yeah.
It says control stomach muscle contractions. There might be another one. I took biology. You think I can get anything right with the details there? There's a hormone with that it affects the skin and the strength of the
Collagen.
tightening. Yeah, collagen's a good one.
Collagen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something else on this list that we can use for varicose veins? In a general sense, yes. Is it on this page? No. This one, this one, this one, this one. I'm not sure what amylin is, but that's coming up.
Amylin.
Yeah. That doesn't have a definition beside it. But any of the ones that don't have a definition beside it, you can look it up. And also at the top there is a website link that I put there with hormones that's got quite an extensive one list there.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There was also in the chat a question about being able to enhance extreme intuition. And then
Enhancing
kind of
extreme intuition. I would go for that dimethyltryptamine. Good. Yeah, the spirit hormone, the DMT. And probably dopamine and serotonin, because those are your happy hormones. And those have a lot of influence in the body and in depression and the kinds of things like that. So those ones I would go for first. Does that answer that one?
hopefully. She also had a second part of her question. What's the area of study that you mentioned earlier pertaining to epidemiology?
I
don't remember you saying that, but
it might have been when I mentioned Sharan Sudar. That was the original hormone list that I got. She shared that in one of our practitioner forums, and she's an epigeneticist in England. And she's a really effective body code practitioner and scientist. So she's got a lot of good information through her websites. If you look her up, Charda, actually, I can type her name in here. You'd have to go look up her website. Sharan Sudar, I think that's how you pronounce it. And she's in England. I take serotonin reuptake inhibitor. How would I balance serotonin and know if I am taking that med at the same time? This is where it's important to have a doctor's support in balancing your hormones. You can just balance them, but make sure that you have a doctor's support in getting off of medications. I have had several people go off medications, but it's always just cover my butt just to tell them to have a doctor to monitor, because the more you balance your hormones, the more you balance your energy, the less you will need of these substances. So, yeah.
I have another interesting question. How do you ask client? Oh, let me see. There was something about how can you, after balancing, how can you retain the balance? Do you ask them to do anything in particular to maintain the homeostasis?
There are some things that just drinking water, having a salt bath, salt shower, having a really good sleep, walking in nature, those kind of things. The general things that you would do for any kind of energy balancing, just to keep yourself in a state of inner peace that way. But hormones, they do fluctuate. They fluctuate constantly. So you're never going to have them completely always balanced, just because that's life. And I'm just thinking too of a little meme that I've seen, that life has ups and downs, and it's just like a heartbeat monitor, and you don't want a flat line.
If somebody has a craving for ice, could balancing anything help with that?
Well, I know from personal experience and other things that craving ice is often an iron imbalance.
Yeah.
So you can balance, yeah, you can just the same way that I've balanced hormones, you can balance your iron and make sure that your iron levels are at optimal function. That's what I would do with iron, is ask if it's at optimal function, and also make sure that your body is absorbing iron properly. And also with iron in particular, you need citrus in order to process it properly. So, okay. How do you balance your hormones on a daily basis? There's not any particular statement that I do, but I do Quartz of Atonement. I'm all about Quartz of Atonement. So yeah, just your daily ones. I Jackie Rioux, place myself, Jackie Rioux, into a full Court of Atonement for the purpose of restoration of self, optimal working conditions, and soul recognition. And I ask for amenable dissolution of these energies. Those are my 3 speed calls that I generally do every day for myself. Is there any? I'm just going through.
Emily said she envisions a book by you on this subject, but I know that you have a book anyway. You want to just
Oh, I want to
share that now?
Okay. Heal Thyself is a anthology book that I published my own story here in a chapter back in 2017. And if you go into my website, there is my published story in there. My chapter is in a PDF. You can download and read it there. There's also an interview on that page. And on my YouTube channel, I read out my story on one of my YouTube videos. So,
Somebody's asking about asthma. That's a good one.
Asthma, yes. Those are things to do with your lungs, and also to do with steroid kind of hormones. Is there one on here that's to do with lungs? Yes. Is it on the first? This one. 100. Epinephrine. And adrenaline. That'll affect asthma. Because when you're in that fight or flight state, it'll shut down things and contract. And that's when you have trouble breathing. Also with asthma, just random things. I'm going into all sorts of stuff here, but if I have a client with asthma, one of the things that I would look at is their hiatal muscle and balancing that. Okay.
Are you finished with that answer?
I
There's
think,
a hand up. There's a hand up for Z.
pardon me?
Are you
Oh.
finished with that answer? Because Z has her hand up.
Okay. Date.
Z, you want to unmute yourself? Okay. Z, unmute yourself so that you can ask a question. Figures that out.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's just a few things. For acne, what is the hormones that you would sort of
With acne?
attend to? Yeah.
We had another question about eczema. I'm just I'm just going to mute you while I'm answering because it was echoing there. Eczema, acne, those kind of things. Renin is one of the kidney hormones, and there may be others, but renin is the first one that comes to mind. If you're balancing things with your kidneys, because the kidneys flush out toxins, and if you have too much toxins in your body, it would come out in your skin. And just other random information, I know that acne is also self-devaluation. So if you look at confidence, those kind of things, that may help relieve acne.
Okay. And just one more thing. We've been talking about balancing hormones.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like for example, with over appetite, you'll
Oh, you muted yourself there. Sorry. I missed half of that. You still there? Hello?
Yeah, he just unmuted himself. He was talking about appetite.
yeah. Sorry, ghrelin is the
Not ghrelin?
hunger hormone, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Oh, you muted again.
But there's also 3 other people. Okay,
Yeah.
he's unmuted.
You want to finish your question there? Oh.
Okay, Z, we'll have to move on.
busy.
Okay.
All right, Marcia.
Hello, dear friend.
Hello. Glad to see
So
you.
I
Good.
have a client that, well, 2 things. I put in the chat vasopressin
Yeah.
for the one who talked about vascular stuff, and that I couldn't find it on your chart, so I stuck it in the chat. What it does.
Yeah.
It
So vasopressin hormone decreases water excretion by the kidneys by increasing water reabsorption in the collecting ducts, hence its other name of antidiuretic hormone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vasopressin also has a potent constricting effect on arterioles throughout the body. Okay.
But my question is, I have a client whose estrogens are up and down all the time.
Yep.
We managed to get her pregnant, but her face breaks out in a very specific pattern, and they're big, kind of like cysts.
Okay.
So we've done the estrogens. We've got them fairly well balanced because we managed to get her pregnant and got a delivery done.
Nice.
Is there anything particular you would do for this really systemic acne? I'm not even sure it's an acne, but are like big cysts, and they look horribly painful, and they are.
The one that I'm getting is the fibroblast growth factor 21, which is a liver sugar craving. So maybe your sugar's imbalanced. She got what do you call that? Gestational diabetes.
No, but she does have insulin resistant.
Okay, that might be something there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Aileen.
I'm just wondering, for my son, he gets a lot of anxiety.
Yep.
Now and I'm just wondering, is there some kind of hormones that he has? Oh God, what's Erlands as well? And I know which is kind of, with the eyes and colors and things. And I'm just wondering, is there some hormones that are affecting that would make it better for him?
That was
better for him
with his eyes.
Well, the Erlands, light. He wears coloured lenses, well, sometimes, and they can help. But the anxiety is kind of there. An awful lot of things will kick it
So
off.
my son actually has social anxiety. There's a lot of things we work through with him. He's dopamine and serotonin. Those are really, really important for anxiety. If you keep balancing those, and they'll probably be out of whack quite a bit. I constantly have to balance those on my son, but he's gotten so much better over the years. And if it's something that's affecting his eyes, I would have a look at the lanosterol. Not necessarily getting the physical medication, but that's why I have it on the list here. If he has anxiety, he may have a fear of the future. And that's usually what anxiety is, a fear of the future, and it would affect his eyes metaphysically and then physically, that he doesn't want to see the future.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so try those ones. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yuriko,
Okay. Yes.
did I pronounce that right? Sorry.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My son, his body is always hot.
Okay.
And whether it does, matter summer or winter, and he sweats a lot.
Testosterone. Testosterone, they're natural heaters. So his testosterone may be out of whack.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have the female friend that has the same symptom. So
so
the
those
same
would
for
be, yeah. Her testosterone may be heightened. That's how I had to shut off the hot flashes that I had a few months ago. I was balancing testosterone, aldosterone, estradiol, progesterone, and estrogen. And I balanced those all on myself, and I managed to shut off the hot flashes.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that. Okay.
That's it. Could you just say a little bit more with having to kind of take in the personal or emotional factors, as well as dowsing down this list of hormones? Do you do it intuitively, or do you just assume that with certain chakras or certain hormones that there is also an emotional component?
There usually is an emotional component to it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I noticed that Anne Bryan is on here, and she's the one that I was working with a few months ago, because we did the Court of Atonement facilitator course together. And one of the times that we worked together, I said, well, what can I do for you? And she was the one that said, Jackie special.
Oh.
So I now have that on my scheduler that you can ask for the Jackie special. And that's where I don't ask any questions or ask what's going on or have any notes. I just tune into your energy and start balancing. And there's all sorts of funny things that come up. And yeah, in that I can balance hormones and whatever else comes up. But it does, you don't need to know the emotional component, but if you've got a basic understanding of how, nobody likes to, go through heartbreak, and yet every one of us in some way has suffered some sort of a heartbreak or a loss, and it affects you. It affects your vibration, and being Dowsers, I'm hoping most people know of power versus force. You understand about vibration, and there is a YouTube video on my channel about power versus force that I explain a little bit more of vibration. So the emotional sense of that, enlightenment, happiness, joy, peace, those are all vibration of 500 to 1,000, and that's where we'd like to be. But when you have guilt and shame that are vibration of 20 to 30, that brings down your overall vibration. And quite often those are the kinds of things that are blocking, causing creative blocks, emotional blocks in your body, and will bring down your overall vibration. And I have just found that hormones particularly are something that seems to cover a lot of things, because when you go into hormones, it shifts your body systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. we've still got hands up over here.
You have one more, Liz, and then
Yeah.
a question that Donna Lee had in the chat.
Okay. So Liz, you've still got your hand up there?
Yes, please. I want to know, every time I have vitamin C, I break out like cankers on my lips and my mouth. What would be the
Okay.
cause of that?
Check the brand that you're using.
Okay.
That's another thing. It's a substance, right? And you
Right.
need vitamin C in your body. It's naturally occurring in your body. You just take supplements to amplify that. So there may be something in the production of the substance or supplement that you're taking. You can check the brand name or check the actual substance if it is beneficial to your body.
Okay.
Try a different brand. That particular one may be an individual energy toxin. The energy of that does not agree with your energy. And so yet
Okay,
again,
yeah.
that's another reason. If your body needs vitamin C, your body knows what vitamin C is, so you can just amplify that in your body.
Okay.
Yeah, rather
Another,
than taking
right, yeah.
substance.
Another thing that happens, I don't touch orange juice. I've tried it 3 times drinking orange juice. It does the same thing. It's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah, it's just on the lips, on the inside of the mouth. It's just, yeah, same idea. So I have to amplify the vitamin C then.
Yeah, amplify the beneficial aspects of vitamin C. And
Okay,
so
that's
that
a,
way you're not having to take a substance where there may be some other component of it that is creating the issues and a toxin for you.
right. Yeah, if I have tangerines, I'm okay. But an orange or orange juice, it seems to do that. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I will do that. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're
That's
welcome.
great. Thanks.
Okay. Somebody mentioned the universal consciousness scale. Yes. Dr. Hawkins, it's
Oops. Jackie, you muted.
okay.
Ellen.
You catch that? There's a YouTube video on my YouTube channel that explains about power versus force and shows this this document as well. It explains the emotional components.
Jackie, I was it just occurred to me, maybe it might be timely to remind the Dowsers about diagnosing, so prevent problems with
Yes.
law.
Yes, that was my disclaimer when I started out. I am not a medical professional, and we don't diagnose, we deal with symptoms, and always have a medical professional helping you, especially if you're trying to get off any kind of medications. You can do wonderful things with balancing hormones, but just have some medical backup on things just to cover your butt. Yeah. Can you suggest anything for allergies, sinus blocking, sneezing? Histamine. That's a fun one to balance because there's some things like dopamine and serotonin, oxytocin. Those are really important hormones that run a lot of things in our body. And when you balance those things, it makes a huge, huge difference in your overall well-being. Can this help with receding gums? That would go back to any kind of hormones that that deal with something in the mouth or with your skin. Yes, that covered that. Is there any other questions I missed in the chat or anything else I need to cover?
I think you pretty much covered them, but we also need to close the kind of official part of the meeting, and we can continue if you're agreeable to staying on if anybody does have any other questions.
Sure, I can do that. Well,
But
thank you very, very much for allowing me to share what I know here. And I'm certainly not an expert. This is the information that I've shared with you. Have fun and play with it. and see what kind of things you can do too.
I want to thank everybody for coming. You can stay on if Jackie's agreeable for a few more questions, but I want to remind you that next month on this January 6th, we'll have Brenda Wilson, an astrologer, coming to talk about the dynamic alignments and influences of 2024. Thank you very much for coming, and please continue to support Tucson Dowsers as well as you have been. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Ron.
And
Okay,
Jackie,
anybody else have any questions for Jackie? Lots of thank yous here. Oh, there is one person.
Recording.
No, we'll continue. We'll continue to record just that the formal meeting is completed.
Got it. Okay.
Somebody had a question about their son who's a police officer. She had it before. Constant stress.
And lack of sleep, and he
Mhm.
wants to lose weight. So yeah, those would be several things on there. We talked about the sleep one, so melatonin, tryptophan, those kind of things. Losing weight, irisin and C-reacting protein. I'll just add in here, that's not a perfect formula because I'm still working with my own weight. There's a lot of things going on there that I'm still working through, but it has been effective for some people as well. Neuropathy, I would look at the pain hormones. Those can be quite effective for neuropathy. Somebody added in here about the allergies. Raymond Grace says to desensitize the mucous membranes from all irritants and allergens. And not sure if I missed any other questions. If I missed any other questions, you can put them in the chat again or put your hand up.
You also have a hand up.
Tamara, your hand is up.
Yeah.
Hi, I have a Shih Tzu.
Yep.
She's a rescue dog. She's traumatized by everything. It took me 10 days in order to be able to pick her up. If I try to pick her up, if she's just walking around, she skirts away like she's going to get hurt or hit or something. Yep. How can I balance her so that she is more relaxed and comfortable? I've only had her since like July 6th, and she does now sit on my lap and things, but she's still very traumatized. She will hide behind the couch if anyone comes over, and will stay there until they're gone.
Well, that's some other things that I would do other than like for the hormone topic. That would be dopamine, serotonin, balance those kind of things. But for animals, when you have a traumatized animal, if you can just remember 4 points: above the eye, under the arm, collarbone. And I do have a 4-point video on my YouTube. Those 4 points, they just going through them. And instead of tapping, if your animal is traumatized, when you just have her sitting on you, just gently rub just above her eyes, just under here, and a little bit under the arms. These are meridian points, and that's actually the trauma sequence, and it works wonders in settling them down. And then you can balance the hormones. Since that's the topic.
And somebody asking about how do you learn about the Court of Atonement? You want to just tell people how they can do that?
That's Amy Jo. Court of Atonement. If you go on my website, I've got a few pages that is all about Court of Atonement, but it's courtofatonement.com. I took the facilitator course, and I think Amy Jo is going to be putting that out again, probably in January soon. But I highly recommend it. I may be a little bit biased because I'm friends with Amy Jo, but of all the trainings that I have ever had, when I got my certificate from Court of Atonement, I kind of shed a tear, a happy tear.
Jackie, would you mind sharing your daily Court of Atonement in a printed form? Can you send that with the
Yeah,
replay? Because that I think would be very powerful.
I can help you with it right now with speed things and put it right in the text, Jackie. if you want to say
Wonderful.
it.
Thank you. As soon as she said it, I went, ooh, that's good.
So the ones that I use, the soul recognition, restoration of self, and optimal working conditions. But there's what is there, something like 80 speed calls now?
Yeah.
And then I just intuit whatever else ones I need.
So soul recognition, optimization of self, and
Optimal working conditions, because that kind of covers
okay.
everything. Anything to reduce blood pressure. Probably. There are a few ones on here. Noradrenaline, norepinephrine controls the heart and blood pressure.
So I did put it in the post. If people want to cut and paste it and take it out of there right now, they can.
Thank you.
Right, you're welcome.
Because Amy Jo's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you for mentioning the certification and that you cried. Sorry. And I'm sorry that I'm putting up Christmas decorations, so I look terrible.
No, you don't.
I've just got the Brunhilde going on.
How do you find or deal with past life issues, disrupting hormonal rhythms?
You know what I've actually had come up, going back to the miasm idea. And if you go into my website, there is a page on definitions that I've got a few things there. So miasms, if you think of them as a family pattern weakness, and a miasm is ancestral, so you can create it in this lifetime, but it can also go back, on your mother's side, 37 generations, your father's side, 58 generations, whatever. And it can be pretty much anything. And you can also have karmic miasms. I've been noticing that coming up on people. So, and I've had to kind of embrace the idea of reincarnation and past lives, because it's come up so much in all of my my learning over the last several years. So karmic miasms are more of a soul level kind of thing. So if you come into this lifetime, one you're a murderer, next one you're a victim, one you're a king, one you're a peasant. And so this goes through your soul evolution. Yeah, you're getting kind of both sides of it. But karmic miasms, they can be, what's the pattern that you've had in this life? Have you been betrayed a lot of heartbreak, a lot of deception, those kind of things. So clear those as a karmic miasm. And in saying that, I have had just simply hormone imbalance come up as a miasm for people. So it may be a pattern that's gone through the family line. So, and I've had apoptosis dysfunction and metabolism dysfunction has come up as a miasm as well. So clearing those may balance hormones more significantly. When you clear something deep like that, it's more chance that that you won't have too much imbalance, less imbalance, less often. That makes sense. Balancing hormones for the planet or group hormone balancing. Parameters. Choose a group. I have a group session thing that I do, and I've been doing it for quite a while. So when I work on a group, you're just incorporating whoever is in that group and asking for the good of the group, which hormone are you addressing? And that would be a good one where you balance dopamine or serotonin. Everybody has had something with abandonment, heartbreak, betrayal. Those are really, really common. So ask those ones first and see if you can bring it up to 100% function or close enough to it for a group. How do you learn about Court of Atonement? That's Amy Jo. Amy Jo Ellis is on here, and courtofatonement.com. And then if you go into ladybugwellness.ca, you'll find lots of stuff about that too. Can hormones be fixed to reverse gray hair? Worth a try. I read an article several years ago, and I've been trying to do it on myself, that gray hair, there is too much hydrogen peroxide in your hair follicles. And so you can neutralize that. Not promoting this, but something that I have tried is just plain vinegar. I put vinegar on my scalp in the shower, and I have it. Maybe it's just me, but it looks like my gray hairs are coming back in with more pigment. So it's always worth a try. Amy Jo, Quartz of Atonement complements any energy work, and in my opinion, physical medical support. Yes, I totally back that. And yeah, vinegar is acidic and peroxide is alkaline. Any more questions here? Can you put rescue remedy in her water? Oh, I think that was for the animals.
Yeah.
Not sure if I see any more questions here. So, yes, you can do Reiki for the dog as well. I've got a Reiki video on my YouTube as well, if you don't do Reiki yourself. Is there a hormone to help lack of feeling in fingers from lack of nerve sensation? There may be. My first thought on that is the court hormones. If you balance those somehow, because those are to do with pain, they may bring back feeling as well. On that one, if you've heard of Norman Doidge, I think it's Norman Doidge. His last name is Doidge anyway. There's a book out called The Brain That Can Change Itself, and it's about what do you call that? It's about disconnections in the brain. It's a really, really good book. The Plastic Brain, that's it. But that may help with the lack of nerve sensation. They hand out the bulletin, the handouts, they were in the chat here and also in the newsletter. Brain plasticity, thank you.
It will also be, when we send out your recording, Jackie will also have the handout link in that as well.
Yeah. Yes.
And if whoever asked that question has gotten the newsletter or the reminder this week, the information about the handout was with that too, the links for the handout.
Pat Davis, please repeat the name of a hormone. Which one was I talking about there? Sorry.
About the fingers.
Yeah. Deutsch. Oh, the hormone about the fingers? The court hormones. So corticosterone, cortical releasing hormone. Those are all about pain. And those can help bring back some feeling, hopefully. But again, each one of these issues, whatever issue you're presenting with, there are some things can come up, from me, just, from my experiences, what hormones I've seen come up for those kind of issues. But this is where you can just use the list and play, and ask the questions yourself, and then just douse which hormone is best for that. And you may find, it may not make sense, whatever hormone that you have to clear first, but that's, it may be a backdoor way of getting to what you actually need to balance to resolve the issue fully. Is this all in your notes and handouts? Well, there is some information that I went over, and then the rest of it you'll have on the video replay.
Okay, I think this kind of wraps it up. It's wonderful, and you've gotten so many accolades on the chat. People who are thanking you so much for the information, and your presence. Your presence is inspiring. So thank you. It was really wonderful to have you. And I'm going to